In this video, I'll review the questions and answers site from the perspective of a Fish and Game staff member. In a previous video, I reviewed how it would look to the public and the functionality afforded to everyone. We ended that video with my dog, Coot, asking a question. We can see that question here in her list of recently asked questions, and we can see this question has not yet received an answer. Flipping over to viewing the site as a member of Fish and Game, logged in as myself, there is some extra tabs available. In addition to the All Questions and My Questions we saw previously, we now have a list of all the questions that are unanswered, unassigned, unpromoted, and also My Assigned Questions. Looking at the unanswered list, there's currently 17 questions. The top one being the question that my dog asked a few minutes ago. Going into that question, by clicking the title, we now have an Edit tab. This allows us to edit the content of the question before it's posted, and also to add some of these categories that we might use to display the question on different pages across the Fish and Game site. Clicking Edit, we can now update parts of the question. For example, maybe I want to clarify that specks are indeed white-fronted geese. I could add anything to the description here. Note if there's any personal details here in the description, you'd want to remove those. And that's part of the purpose of the unpromoted section, so we can have a final check to make sure there's no personal details that are being posted. And we can add tags, for example, maybe waterfowl. And finally, we can assign the question to someone to answer. For demonstration purposes here, I'll assign the question to myself. And then clicking Ask Your Question to update it. It will send an email, as you heard I just received it, to the person the question was just assigned to, myself, and it will also notify you that it has been updated. At this point, if I go back to the main questions and answers portion, we can see in My Assigned, this question is listed as a question that's been assigned to me to answer, and as I said, I've received an email that notified me of this. If we go and look at that email, we can see a question has been assigned for you to answer. When can I expect to season the thousands of specks in the area? And I can choose to view the question, edit the question, add an answer directly, or view the list of my assigned questions I'm currently viewing. So here is this list of my assigned questions. We can view the question, we can choose to post an answer. Here we have a very similar interface we saw before, but there's some new functionality in that we can now add hyperlinks and upload images, in addition to making tables and other formatting, bold, italicy, that sort of thing. In this case, I have the answer here in my clipboard, so just posting that. You can copy and paste from any program, be it Word or email. And I can scroll down and click Post Your Answer. Note, you may not see all these options here depending on your privileges. When you click Post Your Answer, it's going to create the answer, and it's going to email the person who asked the question. In this case, my dog just got an email. Going back to the questions and answers site, we can see now that the question is no longer listed as unanswered. It's no longer in My Assigned, because I've answered it, but it is in this section, Unpromoted. At this point, You can take care of this or leave this part up to communications. But the idea is that it'll give us a final chance to review the question and make sure we want to promote it to the front page. The person who asked it can see it, but it gives us a last chance to make sure there's no personal details, and then it's appropriate for posting to the main questions list. If it is appropriate, we can choose to promote it to the front page, confirm, and the question then is added to the list of all questions. And here it is at the top of the list. That's pretty much the main functionality that exists here. The big points for you to remember is you'll get an email. It'll have links to here. You'll have to log in using your Fish and Game credentials. That's your same login and password you use for your computer and your email. And you'll be able to always go to My Assigned to see the list of the questions that have currently been assigned to you that are not yet answered. Additionally, you may get a lot of questions that you think the public would benefit from. In that case, you can feel free to use the Ask a New Question to both ask a question and answer it, knowing that maybe it'll cut down on a few phone calls and avoid confusion. The main purpose of this is to make everything that we do much more clear. So anything we can do to make our regulations less confusing, the better.